Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is hopefully going to be a quick video about areas of quadrilaterals. This will help you fill out your notes for today, and then that'll help you solve the problems that are at the bottom of that worksheet. So if you need to pause this video, that's fine. If you need to watch it multiple times, that's fine. I'm going to try to go quickly so that it's not too long to sit through, but that means you have to be paying attention because I'm going to be moving fast. So we're going to talk about area of quadrilaterals, and we know that a quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides. So polygon is a closed figure, a closed shape. Quadrilaterals have 4 sides. The 4 types that we're going to focus on are rectangle, square, trapezoid, and parallelogram. And then we're finding the area. So like we said, it's the amount of square units that are inside a shape's boundary. So square units are 1 by 1 units, 1 by 1 squares. So literally a square unit, and unit always means 1. So again, this is going quickly, so pause if you need to. First one we're going to talk about is finding the area of a square. And a rectangle, which I'm sure that you know already. So squares have 4 equal sides. So for example, if I'm given this square, that's all I'm given in the square. I know that all 4 sides are equal. We find the area of a square or a rectangle by doing length times width. Sometimes I'll write it with a cursive L, so it'll be that. But either way, it's length times width. So length times width for both a square and a rectangle. So first with square, if all I'm given is the 4 there, well, I know that squares have 4 equal sides. Okay, so I'm going to assume, and I know, not just assume, but I know that the other measurements are also 4. So in order to find my area, which is my length times width, it's going to be 4 times 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. And I don't know the units, so I'm just going to put the word units. Could be inches, could be centimeters, could be millimeters, could be anything. But I don't know it right now, so I'm just going to put units. But I have to put units squared. Okay, because remember, those are the square units that are inside that shape, that square. So 16 units squared, you have to include that squared. Okay? If I'm looking at a rectangle, for example, something like this, it would, and I'm given 2.2 inches over here, 14 inches down here. Don't freak out when you see that decimal. We know how to multiply them. We know how to work with them. Same thing with fractions. So again, I'm doing my length times my width, which is going to be 14 times 2.2. 14 times 2.2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 0 at the bottom. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. And then add. That gives me 8. I'll write it over here. Gives me 8, 0. I carry the 1, and then 3. And I have to move my decimal point over 1 place. So 30.8. And I know the units here. The units are inches. So it's going to be 30.8 inches squared for my final answer. So squares and rectangles, we know those. We've done those before. Now we're going to talk about trapezoids. And we know that a trapezoid is a shape with at least one pair of parallel sides, typically looking like something like that. Okay? They don't always look like that. It could be sideways. Could be something like that. But it has one pair of parallel sides. We find the area of a trapezoid. by doing base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, and then the whole thing times the height. So if I'm looking at the trapezoid on the top there, my base 1 is up there. Both my bases in a trapezoid are the parallel sides. So base 1 up here, base 2 down here. Really doesn't matter which one is which. I just do it that way. And then my height is going to be this distance right there. So the height is the distance from one base to the other, and it has to be perpendicular. It's always perpendicular to the bases. Okay? I'm doing base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. I'm essentially finding the average of the bases and then multiplying it times the height. So like I said, the bases are parallel to each other. Okay? So for example, if I'm given something, remember I said they could be sideways. If I'm given something like this, that's marked with a right angle, it's perpendicular. My height is 3, my first base is 4, and my second base is 6. So if I fill in my equation, it's going to be 4 plus 6 divided by 2 times 3, which is my height. Do one thing at a time. We always do one thing at a time. 4 plus 6 is 10 over 2 times 3. 10 over 2 simplifies to 5 because it's 10 divided by 2. So this is going to equal 5 times 3, which is 15. I don't know my units here. They didn't give me inches. They didn't give me centimeters. They didn't give me anything. So I'm just going to say 15 units squared. Sometimes you can simplify units with just using the letter U. So I'm doing 15 units squared. That's the area of this trapezoid. Last one we're going to talk about is area of a parallelogram. Parallelograms have 2 pairs of parallel sides. And they usually look something like this. I didn't draw it very well, but there's one pair of parallel sides and the other pair. Remember, parallel sides do not touch each other. They never cross, ever. So they're across from each other, but they never touch, they never cross. The formula for the area of a parallelogram is your base times your height. So just like in the trapezoid, a parallelogram also has a height, and it connects your bases. It's perpendicular to the base. Okay, that's my height. Down here is going to be my base. Base is typically the flat side, the bottom. It's usually the longer side, but it's always perpendicular to the height. Okay, so formula for area of a parallelogram, base times height. So let's say, for example, I'm given this parallelogram. This time they had the height on the outside of the shape instead of on the inside like I showed you up there. That's okay. No matter what, it's going to be the same thing because this length connecting the bases here is going to be the same as this length connecting the bases here. This forms a right angle, this forms a right angle. So this is the height, and then that's the base. Because this up here measures 5, this down here also measures 5. Okay, so my base is 5, my height is 3, that's going to give me 15. Okay, let's say, for example, this said 3 centimeters and 5 centimeters. It would be 15 centimeters squared. Okay, so again, if you need to play this video more than once, that's fine. Email me, ask me questions if you need to. Fill out the notes and then use your notes from this video to help you fill out the worksheet at the bottom.